Comes to podcasts and social media, stick with the best. Grand Forks' best source. Keep up to date with local happenings and news, interviews with city leaders, athletes, nonprofits, and of course, lots of feel-good stories. You know, Grand Forks' best source is a great way to advertise your business or events with the most economical ad packages available. And contact us to find out how you can have your own podcast with the best studio in the area. Check out Grand Forks' best source on your favorite social media app. Grand Forks' best source, the Forks' best local podcast. Call 701-213-0863 or online at gfbestsource.com. We love the Forks. Grand Forks' best source, giving the Forks their identity again.
I got $100 for some leftover cream corn. I never knew corn was worth so much.
That's right. Corn is at an all-time high, and you can turn your unused corn into money with Cash for Corn.
I'm not grilling corn on the cob this 4th of July. That'd be like burning money.
We'll send you a postage-paid Ziploc bag. Just fill it, send it back to us, and Cash for Corn will pay you promptly.
Sure, I spend a little extra time in the bathroom, but picking out the corn is like writing myself a check.
Don't flush away thousands of dollars. Call Cash for Corn now.
I've been rolling down this road with my head held high. Nothing's ever gonna break the spirit that won't die. And through the dust and pain, I find a way to shine. Living wild and free, this renegade is mine. I am a renegade, and I'm never gonna fade. I am a renegade, hear the freedom that I make. Chasing dreams with my heart, tearing worlds apart. I am a renegade, and I'm never gonna fade.
All right. We are back here with Frankie Slauson's Renegade Radio right here on Facebook. And we're waiting for our latest guest, Paul Myers. Should be coming in here soon, hopefully. I gave him the link here a few weeks ago. So, I gave it to his publisher. That's how they wanted it. They wanted it to his publisher. So I assume they gave him the link that I gave him. So we'll find out here soon, I guess.
And that video you played, how could you find the worst fucking pictures of everybody on there?
Right?
I didn't do that. That was Jeremy that did that. That was the last thing that Jeremy did. Like I haven't needed Jeremy in a long time, so it's like that's the last thing he did for me.
I mean, everybody looks like we're retarded.
Well, because we are. That's why.
I'm sitting with that half fucking colored beard with these fucking.
Antique metal.
Yeah, he's like. Tanya's like, I don't know.
Is that the first time you saw that? I played that.
No. I've seen that a lot of times, but it always bugs me when I see that fucking thing. Like John Roberts is normal. He does.
Yeah.
Lance is normal.
Oh yeah.
Just me, Mama T. Mad Dog. Is Mad Dog on her? Oh yeah, he was. I didn't like that picture. He's like,
oh yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's just like, well, I mean, we tried to do what we could anyway to, like, when Jeremy told me that he was going to make me something, because I asked him to, I said, can you make me an intro? I didn't know what he was going to do. He wouldn't tell me. So it's like, so for the last 6 months or so, this is what, other than the stuff that I made, I've been using his stuff, and I kind of transformed the video into a different song. But
we appreciate it anyway. Thank you, sir.
It's kind of funny how you told me on your roast back how all of my intro stuff sounded terrible when he made your intro shit too.
I only made half of it. I didn't make all of it. Jeremy wanted to do something, and it's just like, and the thing is, I welcome Jeremy to still be a part of the show if he wants to do anything, but it's like, it's like I just
we appreciate it, Jeremy.
I'm surprised anyway.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably not now.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, hey, I got AI. You know, AI helps me with everything now. You know, really. You know, so it's like I don't need anybody to help me anymore. And as far as creativity goes, anyway, I got that taken care of now. I didn't have that back a year or so ago because it wasn't a thing. All right, looks like here. So our guest has officially arrived. Everybody,
Sorry about that. I
hey,
thought I didn't quite see that the link was a StreamYard link, and I was on some other service trying to find it. So that's
no, that's all right. That's all right.
that's a 21st century problem, man. Okay, well, I'm excited to be here and ready to make up for lost time.
Oh, you're only 5 minutes late. It's okay, Paul. Hey, we're blessed to have you anyway, no matter what. You know, you're a legendary guy. You come from a legendary family. You know, we love everything that you do, and I'm gonna kiss your ass as much as I can because I love this. You know.
Well, thank you.
I'm the guy that got a hold of you, by the way, or got a hold of Melissa to schedule.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes. I want to introduce you first to our panel, just so you kind of have an idea of who you're talking with tonight. Other than myself, Mama T, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Mama T. I used to date a blues musician who encouraged me to get my own podcast. After he encouraged me to start my own newsletter. And Frankie decided he wanted me to be on his podcast before I started mine. So, I mean, he passed away a year ago, but I'm still doing it. And Frankie lets me let loose on this one. I don't let loose on mine. There's no cussing, swearing, or drinking on mine. But this is my fun time podcast. You're gonna have a good time.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. I will let Antique Man go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Well, thank you. Good evening, Paul. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
You bet. My name is Eric Wilson Adams. I grew up in the Dakotas. Was a lead singer in a cover band for many years. 8 years ago, we were inducted to the South Dakota Rock Hall of Fame. And now the last couple of years, I've been on this as a co-host and have a few of my own songs on some radio stations. And that what makes me the Antique Man is that I'll be 73 in a few days.
Awesome. Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Scream Sam, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, Paul. Nice to meet you. I was a Sam Kinison tribute artist for years and years and years, sponsored by Bill Kinison and his family. And
wow,
back in the day, this is actually me, and this is what I look like back in the day.
Oh my God. It's a spitting image for Sam Kinison.
Yeah, Bill Kinison freaked out when he met me, and we went to Sturgis together. We hung out in California together, and just a great time, and got to meet a lot of Sam's friends, and really loved me back in the day. I was dead ringer of Sam. But
well,
now,
I hope you've dried out since then.
Yeah, I dried out. I don't have it no more. You know?
Mark Maron, the comedian, tells a lot of stories about doing the worst things possible with Sam Kinison. So, but hey, I'm glad we're here.
Oh yeah, and we're just glad that you're here too, because when I found out that you were doing a book about John Candy, I said one way or another we got to find a way to get you on here. And then you sent me the email of how to get a hold of your agent and everything, or the publisher anyway, and it just worked out so well. I'm Frankie. I'm the one that got a hold of you. This kind of the show founder, co-creator of Renegade Radio. We've been doing this since August of 2023. I have a big background in broadcasting, even though I'm not really in radio currently at the moment. But I wanted to do a podcast, and I love interviewing people. And like I said, you're definitely when I didn't know that. I mean, I knew Mike had a brother, but I didn't know
two brothers. Two brothers.
Two brothers. Okay. Do you guys mostly all look alike? Because I mean, you guys.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, if you had us next to each other, we don't look exactly alike at all. Mike is starting to look a little bit more like me now because he's starting to wear glasses, and I've been wearing glasses since the jazz age. Yeah. Go ahead, Mama.
Okay.
I'm wondering if Mike would have been born a girl, would they have called him Mary?
That's definitely what Peter and I, who are the older brothers, called him when we were kids. Because and it was mainly to tease him, of course. Now it would have been a compliment, but we would say Peter, Paul, and Mary, and of course, that's what kids do.
You're right.
But it's we my two brothers. Actually, this relates to the book. The main reason that I'm a comedy nerd is because Peter, my older brother, and my younger brother Mike, we used to watch comedy television when we were kids, and we were just at the right age to be big fans of Monty Python's Flying Circus. And then that got us, and there's a lot of stuff here, Mike. My dad's from Liverpool, England, so he loved English things. So he would play us comedy albums from England during the war, from the war years, and things like The Goon Show. I don't know if you've heard of them, but the Cambridge Footlights Review with Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. And then we would hear, when Python was on TV in Canada, where I grew up, we would watch that. And then we all watched Saturday Night Live when it came on the air. And so we're from Toronto, Canada, yay. And then Second City Television comes on the air, which is local, and it's from our neighborhood. And we're like, holy cow, we can be funny in Canada. And John Candy was in that cast. And we immediately fell in love with the entire cast, Catherine O'Hara also. And John Candy was like our hero right away. So that's how the long road to get to this book, which it's just being published today. So I have a copy in my hand finally, is, that's the long road. And then there's a lot of other stories along the way, of course. But my lifelong obsessions are music and comedy. And I do the Record Store Day podcast. I think you can see the graphic back there, where I interview musicians every week. And record people and producers and things like that. So it's sponsored by the Record Store Day people who put on Record Store twice a year. So music and comedy are my two big things. So it's like kind of a no-brainer that I'd be writing I write some books about music. Like I did one on Todd Rundgren, and I did another one on some friends of mine from Toronto called the Bare Naked Ladies. They asked me to write their official book. And then I wrote a book about the blues guy, Long John Baldry from England, who's the guy who was kind of the English guy who helped introduce the blues to a lot of people like the Stones. They borrowed records. Anyway, long story short, I've written a bunch of books that are about music and comedy. And now I'm talking too much. So you guys go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Kids in the Hall. Kids in the Hall was one of my favorite shows. And now that I know that you wrote a book about it, I want to see that now.
The book's called The Kids in the Hall, One Dumb Guy. And the title comes from something that Bruce McCullough of The Kids in the Hall said. He said, they're all five smart guys, but together they make really bad decisions. So that they add up to one dumb guy. So so that became the title of immediately became the title of that book. And that book did really well with comedy nerds like myself. And that's how the publisher of that book ended up saying, hey, what else you got? And I said, well, I'd love to do this book about John Candy. So that's, again, how we got here.
That's awesome. What's the age difference between you and your brother? Like your brothers and
Peter's about 3.5 years older than me, and Mike's about 1.5 years older than me. Younger than me. Sorry, I'm the middle.
Yeah, right.
And all that implies, if anyone here is a middle kid, they know, there's a personality trait that's common to middle kids. And plus, there's a lot of things about us. So like I said, my parents are both from Liverpool, England. We are first generation Canadian born. And Mike and I are both the first people in our family to have dual citizenship. So we're both U.S. citizens and Canadian citizens. Oh, wow. So and that's confusing, isn't it? And certain people want me to take them with me to go back to Canada right now. So it's definitely an interesting time to be a multinational person. And I'm just really proud of both countries, frankly. But I think I'm Canadian first. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just like an ethnicity. You are kind of true to your people, and my people happen to be Canadian, and there's a lot of British in me too. I'm a huge Beatle fan. So
don't be sorry.
I don't be sorry. Yeah, I don't. Canadians say sorry. Canadians say sorry. It's our version of hello.
I'm Native American.
Oh yes. Well, congratulations. I mean, is that the word? Proud. Proud stuff. You're the real Americans.
I understand going back to your roots in claiming your roots before you claim where you are now. Like
Mm-hmm.
the town I live in, I don't really admit to most people that I live here. Because, oh my goodness, Margaret Beth, you know better. My daughter calling me during the podcast again. She did this to me last night during my podcast too.
So wild, so crazy, I tell you. No, see, I love the connection because Canadian, all you Canadian people that come from Canada, have brought us so much joy and entertainment over the course of time. I mean, some of the best people that are comedians and actors and actresses are from Canada, and it's just like, I mean, who doesn't love Michael J. Fox, a fellow Canadian? I mean, he's
absolutely
one of the nicest people. I heard John Candy. Nobody's ever said anything mean about him or anything. They always said he was a nice guy, and even off camera, on camera, whatever. It's like
it's true.
That's
true.
That's how people need to be. But more people are like John Candy. I think. I think the world would be a better place. I think.
He took the words out of my mouth. I mean, that's exactly what I've been telling people. Is like one of the reasons we still talk about him, and it's something like 31 years after he passed away. One of the reasons we still talk about him is that, especially in this day and age, with everything that's going on in the world, empathy, compassion, kindness, those are things that John Candy not only had in himself, but put out in the world. And it's in all his roles. If you look at him, even in his most, what they call broad comedies, like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, he is very human and very dignified. And he's very nice to people. Even when he's teasing people, he's got a kind streak to him. And I don't know, for some reason, I feel like we need that right now. And as I was writing this book for the last 3 years, everybody I talked to said that about him. And I also kept thinking, wow, I'm excited that I get to tell his story, because it's nice to be writing about somebody that put good in the world, and I mean that. It sounds, does that sound hippie? But I just really believe it. It's a vibe, man.
Uncle Buck has to be one of my favorite ones. I'm sorry. I could watch that over and over and over again. He's just, it's John Candy, man. It's just him, you know what I mean?
No, it's great. It's great. And then, of course, that film is the first time you ever see Macaulay Culkin in a film, and it's before he made Home Alone. So, and John on the set was very paternal. He's playing his uncle, but he was actually very much like his dad on that set, like the dad he didn't have.
Right.
And he, there's a story in the book about how, John off camera, because Macaulay didn't have a lot of screen credit experience. John would run lines with him so that he could get the lines, because there's this fast scene. Remember where he's quizzing the uncle about everything? And that scene, he worked with him so closely on that. And John Hughes, of course, the director and writer of that film, was very much the perfect person for John Candy, because he understood and loved John Candy. So he wrote parts for him that were just some of the best parts John Candy ever played. And some of the best movies that John Hughes ever made were John Candy films. So yeah, again, all this is exciting to me, that I got to tell these stories and interview these people. And John Hughes has passed away, but I talked to his son who's part of the family legacy. And he told me great stories about the Candy family and the Hughes family and how close they were. There you go. And I think your pizza's here.
That's right. What I love about this is, like, even when you talk about the current world and everything, to me, it's nice that John Candy is getting his flowers again, because it's like this time of the year, because his birthday's coming up again, on Halloween. That's a lot of people didn't know that he was born on Halloween. That's kind of a cool kind of
absolutely
thing,
yeah.
But, like,
who doesn't want candy on Halloween, right?
Yeah. But he's getting all this love now. I mean, you got your book coming out tomorrow. You got the documentary coming out here on Friday. I mean, it's like, man, who could love this? Who could love this right now?
Exactly. No, it's great timing, and the documentary is also made by a Canadian, Ryan Reynolds, and we had nothing to do with each other except that I knew about it. Like, I talked to the Candy family, or I emailed the Candy family before I started my book, and they said, "Well, we're doing our own movie, but we wish you the best," because they knew. I made it clear that I had no ill intentions. I wanted them to participate, but they said, "We're doing our own movie, but go in peace and do your thing." And then Ryan Reynolds, who's a Canadian star, also hired Tom Hanks' son. Tom Hanks talked to me for the book, by the way. Tom Hanks talks to me about making splash with John Candy, and also Volunteers, which is so it's it was just such a convergence. There's a German word that I learned called Zeitgeist, and Zeitgeist is when the universe puts something in your mind like at the same time. So everybody's thinking the same thing. And it looks like everybody wanted to celebrate John Candy this year and this week. So we're sort of unofficially calling it John Candy Week, and it's John Candy Month. So here we are with things to show you.
Timing.
Did you get a chance to see an early screening of the documentary at all, or have you not?
No, but I just got a streaming, what they call a streaming link, the private protected screening link. I just got it this afternoon, and I am doing press. I'm doing press for my own book, so I will have to watch it tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. Do you know Colin Hanks's other films? He made great film. Yeah, but I mean his directorial films, like his documentaries. He directed a film about Tower Records. You know all about Tower Records, right?
Oh yeah.
He made this documentary called All Things Must Pass, the Tower Records story, and it's so good. And because I'm on the Record Store Day podcast, I was already excited about this guy. And then he made a film about that terrible thing that happened to the Eagles of Death Metal in Paris a few years ago when there was a terrorist attack. And he's made two of my most noted films that I actually like, documentaries. And then I heard he was doing the film about John Candy, and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be great. So their thing comes out 3 days after my book. So that's why it's John Candy Month, I
guess so. No, now that you mentioned about that documentary about the Eagles of Death Metal and then the Tower Records. Yeah, I watched both of those before because they had the Eagles of Death Metal thing on HBO Max or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, anyway, so I just was so happy that a really good documentary filmmaker like Colin Hanks would be bringing all of that talent to something that I have just spent 3 years of my life writing about. So I'm going to sit down tonight and really enjoy it, and I hope they get to see my book because, we're out separately in the world promoting our things. And I would love to bump into them somewhere and compare notes, but it'll happen. It'll happen. Sure. We're not in competition. We're all celebrating the same guy.
There's Comic-Cons everywhere, it seems like. So who knows when you run into each other.
I will go dressed as Darth Vader, and I will show up somewhere at a Comic-Con, perhaps, or a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I don't know. I have to choose what Halloween is coming up, so there's probably some costumes.
That's right.
Darth Vader, let's hear your best Darth Vader voice.
I don't really have a Darth Vader voice. That's about it. So I'd have to work on it.
So Paul, I don't want to get too personal. I was just wondering if you have kids or grandkids.
Okay, I need to know why you're asking.
So I told you my daughter was trying to call me during my show live again. She called because my grandbaby is just turning 5 months old here in a few months, and she just started laughing.
Oh, well, there you go. She's on her way.
Just to let you know, I'm putting you as more important than hearing my granddaughter laugh for the first time.
Well, I'm proud to be their godfather at this point, because I'm sure that's what's coming. But how about that laughter? The thing we're talking about, and if you need to duck out, I don't want to keep you from that. No. But I just, but let's all celebrate the fact that a child has just started laughing, because that is. I mean, again, with the trippy, I might sound trippy here, but I'm completely straight and sober and everything. And I can tell you that really makes me happy to hear that. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
I'm glad you asked why I was asking, because that was why I was asking. I knew it would make you happy because you're all about comedy. And, I do see the family resemblance as well. Like when you and your younger brother smile and laugh, I can see the mouth structure is very similar.
Everything.
I can't take credit for genetics or anything. So yeah, I never know what to do with a compliment like that. So
when people see you, do they know you're admired?
I don't know what they know. I don't know what they see. I can tell you what I think when I'm walking through the world. I have a lot of friends who know me for what I do and who I am, and some of them have known Mike as well. Like, a lot of my friends from childhood are still my friends. It's like, I have a very good success rate of not losing friends, which is I'm very grateful for. And these people, they can tell the difference, and they also make me affirm, like I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter, I do all these other things, and I love comedy. I try to do comedy. I'm not particularly good at it. I have a sense of humor though, and I love other people's jokes and scenes and comedy. And we have a very good relationship, all three brothers. My two brothers and I text every day still, and all day. like they're big Liverpool FC soccer fans, and they'll be talking about the scores while I'm doing something else, and I'm like can't see the game because I'm doing something, and and I'll see an ad for something and I'll send it to them, or a YouTube link or something. And so I'm grateful that the three children that we have grown up to be three, and we're all very pop culture minded, like we all, like I said, we all formed each other. Like Peter brought home Led Zeppelin records, my brother, and I brought in like Todd Rundgren records, and when we were kids, and then we all discovered Talking Heads and English groups like the new wave groups like the Clash and XTC, and we all kind of just shared everything, and it was that sharing thing. It's actually like it's like having a little school that we all taught each other things. So in terms of us having personality differences or similarities is what you're getting at. I think it's kind of normal for people who are very close to sort of have some of the same speech patterns and things like, because we talk all the time, so
Right.
So that's my short answer. Believe it or not, that's the short answer. It's very hard to look out of the world and see yourself how anyone else sees you. So I just try to be me, So I understand the question. It never really crosses my mind.
Well, let me ask.
Go
ahead. No, go ahead.
Something that like a lot of people talk about, there's a lot of heavy-set comedians that died, that are like John Candy, John Belushi, Sam Kinison, Chris Farley. It's just weird how a lot of these heavy-set comedians are dying. Is it because they're heavy? I don't know. I mean, John Belushi took his life for drugs, but
you never know. I mean, each one had their own problem, and it certainly doesn't help to be heavy. Not for the cosmetic thing, but just because it's just stress on your body. But I don't know. Again, you just pointed it out. Like John Belushi had other issues, and Chris Farley had other issues. John Candy didn't have those issues so much. He had a congenital history with heart problems. His father died when John was 5 years old. His father died. I think about that. And then, just he was a people pleaser. So I think sometimes you give and give and give, and somewhere that tension of constantly wanting to help everyone else kind of maybe built up on him. I'm not a doctor, the book doesn't say Dr. Paul Myers on the cover. So I made it a point of trying not to judge or analyze or even, figure out what was going on.
A lot of comedians that are funny and heavy are gone. I mean, they're just.
Well, that's true too. But I mean, I wonder statistically if a lot of comedians are gone that are also not heavy.
I just think of that one.
No, of course. And this is something that comes up in the book. John Candy came up at a time when, body shaming was nobody even knew to not body shame, like nobody even knew that it was rude to sort of bring it up. So he'd go on some morning radio show and they'd say, "Hey, John Candy's here, a big fat guy," and he has to sit there and listen to that. And, right. I think he seemed like it wasn't getting to him, but I think it might have. And I think it was a very different time. And, I see the Hi Sweetie sign. I assume it's not for me. But anyhow.
She can't control herself.
Anyhow. So, so I think you're right. I mean, certainly heavy set people have passed away. But I don't know if I'm not in the trend business. I'm not a scientist of that. So I don't know if statistically more heavy people pass away than not,
Right.
You could probably skewer any demographic and say more women comedians have passed away or more, black comedians. It's hard to even know, and again, I wouldn't even want to speculate from my little point of view. I'm here to sort of talk about the work of John Candy,
Right.
Well, while we're doing that, let's learn a little bit about you as well, there, Paul. Because I'm sure growing up, you obviously you obviously have had an interesting life growing up. And what are some cool stories that you can share from your own personal, experiences in life to get
Well,
you to
when
this?
I was a little kid, I was a huge Beatle fan, and the Beatles were more than a band for me. They were like a roadmap, thing I wanted to do. I used to think I want to make records. I want to write cool songs like the Beatles, and I want to be in a band that's cool like the Beatles. And then I like a lot of kids my age. I grew up in the 70s. I grew up loving the local bands were like Rush and BT, Bachman Turner Overdrive. So I first started playing in garages, playing those songs and Kiss songs and Zeppelin songs. And then something happened where like a lot of the new wave bands started coming out of Britain and New York to some extent. And I just changed my whole approach and started doing more like art rocky things and like writing songs that were much more like Susie and the Banshees, or like I mentioned, XTC, a huge influence on me, or The Jam, or The Clash. And I started doing that kind of music. And my whole life, I thought I was just going to be a musician. And I had several bands, and I put out a record in, what year was that? 1992. I put out a record with my independent band called the Gravelberries. We got our name from the Flintstones, by the way. There's an episode where Fred Flintstone sells gravelberry pies at the side of the road. So we called our band the Gravelberries. And we put out an independent CD and toured Canada a little bit. And then that band broke up. And then I moved to California and with my wife. I've been with my wife since 1986. Not married in 86, but we got married in 95. And then when I got down here, I started writing as well as playing music. And I realized I liked writing. So I started writing for magazines. I started writing. And then I wrote my first book in 1998, the Bare Naked Ladies, who were a band that were on the scene with me in Toronto back when I was in Toronto. They were starting to have a huge hit. It was their album had just come out called Maroon. No, the album before it. Anyhow, they had a big hit called 1 Week that was on MTV, and they decided that they wanted to write a book about the first 10 years of their career, and they knew that I had been there for it. So they asked me, they'd seen that I was writing, and they said, well, we want to designate you to be our writer, and you can tell our story, and we'll each tell you our story. So that became a book, and I suddenly thought, I can write books. Like it wasn't even on my radar to write books. So I'm telling you my whole life story, by the way. Do you mind?
No,
I could stop anytime.
No, this is great. This is great.
So then what happened was I wrote that book, and it did well with fans, and it was kind of I'm not sure if it was a great book. Actually, I'm not sure if I knew how to do it yet, but I got it done. And this is a lesson to anybody. Just even if you don't know how to do it, try it, and maybe you'll get better at it. And then someone asked me to write a book about an obscure British musician named Long John Baldry. And this was also in Canada. I went back to Canada, and this publisher asked me, what do you know about Long John Baldry? And I don't know if you people know this, but Long John Baldry was a white 6'7" gay Englishman who was also the father of the British blues, in the sense that he hosted Muddy Waters and all these people in England back when Black American musicians couldn't get the credibility in the late 50s and early 60s in America. They had to enter the back doors of hotels in America, but in England and France, they were treated like kings. So John Baldry treated these people really well and became good friends with this generation of blues people, mostly men. And then his friends, John Baldry's friends, were people like Jeff Beck, the Rolling Stones, Ronnie Wood, and and Paul McCartney and people like that. So he would lend blues records to these people. So he ends up being this unspoken, unseen hero. And there's this whole weird story about him. He's 6'7", and he's got an amazing voice. He sort of sang like this, he's from London, but he sings in this like Mississippi accent. So I wrote this book called Long John Baldry and the Birth of the British Blues. And that a very, very select audience knows about that book. But I actually enjoyed writing it. And my editor was so amazing on that I learned how to write better. So my writing got improved. So now we're up to my third book. This one, I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of Todd Rundgren, who's a music producer as well as an artist. And he's had several different versions of what he does, as well as having produced We're an American Band for Grand Funk Railroad. He also produced the New York Dolls' first album. He produced Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell, but he's also put out records like Can We Still Be Friends and Hello, It's Me. And he's as an artist on one side, and he also produced like other XTC and Patti Smith. So I decided to write a book about all of his productions where I talked to Todd Rundgren for hours and hours and days, actually. And then I talked to the artists he produced, like Patti Smith and Meatloaf. And then I wrote this book that sort of told the whole story. And that's called A Wizard, a True Star, Todd Rundgren in the Studio. So that happened. And then, I started doing other things, and that got me actually writing liner notes for albums and stuff. So that's something else I do is when people put out reissues, sometimes I'll write, those little booklets that come with them.
Oh, sure.
So that's a fun job. I really love it. What's that?
Like the one page?
Sometimes they're one page, sometimes they're one big sheet, sometimes they're a whole booklet. If it's a CD, sometimes it's a booklet, sometimes it's just the inner sleeve of an album. And then that brings us to having grown up with the Kids in the Hall comedy troupe in Toronto. When I was back in Toronto, they were learning how to be a comedy troupe in the same rock clubs that I was playing in. So we all became good friends, and I kind of grew up with them. So I wanted to tell a story. Like I said, I'm a comedy fan. So I thought, hey, I now know how to write a book. I should write about my friends. So that's how I wrote that book. So that was my fourth book. So that you already know what happened then. So here we are talking about my fifth book, which is in stores now.
That's awesome.
Wow.
It's in stores now. It is actually in the stores now.
I think, because when is this airing live or running live?
Yeah, we're live right now. We're live.
Okay, so when I say now, I mean tomorrow. It's October 7th, but some people are putting it on the racks already. So check your local bookstore. I love supporting my local independent bookstores because they are the backbone of the community. And if you have a local independent bookstore, ask them to order John Candy, A Life in Comedy. It's on the published by House of Anansi Press. That's ANANSI. And I know I ordered it at my local bookstore. It's kind of a good luck thing. You order your own book. At least you're going to sell one, right? At least you'll sell one that way.
So as an author, how well have your books done in the past? Like for people to read.
Describe well. I would say they've all been critically well received, and some of them and a few of them have sold through. What that means is that you earn back your advance and start making royalties on them. So it's I write about sometimes very obscure things like I don't think you guys have talked about Long John Baldry before, and the Bare Naked Ladies had a very big period, but they're not currently like a number one band, and then and Kids in the Hall where comedy fans appreciate them, but it's not necessarily. This is the first book I've written where people already, I call it the cab driver test or Uber driver. People ask you, oh, you're an author. What do you write about? And I go, well, I'm writing a book about John Candy. And they go, oh, I know that guy. And they've got this is the first time I've ever written about anybody where everybody goes, oh, I know that person. I can't wait to read that. So you can tell the differences. Like when you mention, certain rock fans would know Todd Rundgren, but the other people go, never heard of him. And it's always disheartening when you've been spending a few years writing a book about somebody. But I'm not necessarily always writing about things that are top 10. This time it's somebody who seems to be universally beloved. So it's kind of a neat treat.
Well, that's what I mean, though. It's like I think it's going to be received very well because of that. Because you picked a subject that everybody knows about, like you said, and I think it could make you a New York Times bestseller. I'm just saying, good possibility.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah,
I would welcome that. Or at least make Oprah's book list.
Oh, that would be even better. Yeah.
No, it's good though that there's so many stories out there that are not known that people don't know. Just because John Candy is known by everybody, all these other books you wrote, they're about stories that need to be told. People need to hear these stories. And I'm so glad that you're out there doing that. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, I don't want to take it too self-seriously, but I do think of myself as a storyteller more than anything else. People say, are you a journalist? Are you, what are you? And what are you? And I go, I'm a storyteller. Like, and when I was I'm a songwriter too. So when I write songs, it's the same part of your brain. You're trying to get something across, it's a little more poetic maybe when you're writing songs because you can use imagery and make it more vague. But telling a story is just it's an art form, and I'm glad I'm learning how to do it. And it's very satisfying. It's very satisfying to sort of be a communicator. And again, it sounds like I'm self-serious, but it's just what it is. As my friend always says, it's what's for dinner. What's for dinner? That's maybe a Canadian expression. I don't know. It's just what's for dinner, eh? That's how we say it.
Yeah. What's so what does your brothers think about the work that you do? I'm sure they're awfully proud of you.
Yeah, Peter's been super supportive. Peter's also a novelist, and he's working on you haven't seen any of his books yet, but he's been writing for years, and he's got some really good things going on right now, and he's very supportive, and I'm really happy that when he says something nice about my books, I'm really happy. And then Mike, of course, is Mike is helping me out on a couple of the dates for promoting this book. Mike's going to be appearing with me in Toronto, which is our hometown, and in New York City, which is a city that he's adopted very much. So on October 23rd, we're doing something in Toronto, and October 27th, we're doing something at the Strand Bookstore in New York City. And we're trying to fill in more dates, just me. I have a few dates. I have a lot of dates where I'm just going out to places like Edmonton and Calgary, Portland, here in San Francisco tomorrow night on October 7th. We're doing something in Berkeley where I live. And there's going to be people there, and I'm going to talk to them about John Candy and sign books. And, I also try to sign books wherever I go in bookstores. Even if I'm not doing an event there, I'll just go in and sign the stock so that you'll walk in looking for my book and you'll see a sticker on it that says signed by the author. And it's like, there goes the resale. But, but anyway, yeah. So it's very, my brothers are very supportive. My parents passed away at different times over the last 20 years. And so me and my brother, Michael and Peter, are the only two family members from that side of the family. Of course, I have my wife's family too, are super awesome. And they're very supportive too. My wife's, my mother-in-law is very, she's a writer too. She was a travel writer, and I love how happy she is when she sees I got a full page in the Toronto newspaper or something. Wow. She knows what it is when an author gets like coverage, right? So she'll be delighted for me, and that makes me happy. It's like she's like kind of like my mother at that point. So it's really nice.
No, that's exciting, and like I say, Paul, I'm so honored just to have you on the show because, when I found out that this was going to actually be a real thing and that we're actually going to do it, see, we're a small podcast. We don't get thousands upon millions of viewers or whatever. We're kind of like I'm located in northern Minnesota, so I'm close to Canada anyway. We're like Manitoba anyway.
Where are you in Minnesota?
A little town called Brooks, Minnesota, which is like probably maybe an hour from the Canadian border or so.
Okay, I have so many record store friends in Minneapolis. That's why I asked.
Everybody thinks that's what Minnesota is, Minneapolis, but it's not. There's so much more.
I know, and I have a lot of friends from Calgary, Alberta, who would go down to Minnesota, and they're probably near you, actually. So,
it's probably because of Mall America, probably Mall America. It's in the cities and everything. So, yeah, but not where we're at. Go ahead.
I grew up 10 miles from the Canadian border in a little town called Roseau, Minnesota. And I remember CBS or CBC was one of the few channels we actually got. So Second City TV and The Kids in the Hall were one of my favorite programs growing up.
That's awesome.
What I'm really interested in your music career. Just because that's what I do. That's my podcast is I interview musicians. So I'd really like to hear a lot more about your music career because, I mean, It looks like are you do you still perform like?
I haven't performed lately. Lately, I do electronic music under the name Flam. It's just it's just instrumental music. But the most recent record I made was with this local musician named John Mormon, and the album was called Inner Sunset, and it was credited to the Paul and John. And the Paul and John put out Inner Sunset in 2014, and it's available on Bandcamp now. You can order vinyl, CD, and digital download. And also my first band, the Gravelberries, is also still on Bandcamp. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. What instrument do you? I know you songwrite. Do you sing? Do you play guitar?
Yeah, my first instrument is guitar. I've learned how to play the bass, I think, fairly accurately, and I can trick out a keyboard to sound like something. I don't play the drums, so my demos are generally just using some kind of machine or loops, just for the drums, and or no drums at all. But my main instrument is guitar, and in a studio situation, I can make a piano or a synthesizer sound like something. So that's, and I think most people probably could. But I sometimes have to play the left hand and the right hand separately on two different tracks. So that's. But as long as it sounds like something, that's cool.
Right. And see, and that's why, because I noticed when I told you I dated a blues musician, you kind of chuckled a little bit, like.
I feel like as a musician, we owe it to say I'm sorry anytime anyone mentions dating a musician.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate
it's
that.
It's really not my fault, but on behalf of the brotherhood and sisterhood of musicians, I thank you for your service.
Well, and on behalf of all of us at Renegade Radio here and all the viewers and stuff, we do appreciate you, Paul. And for anybody that wants to know more about you and what you do, how can they do so?
Well, there's I'm on the socials, as they say, like Threads, Blue Sky. I used to be on Twitter more often, not so much since it became X, but and also Instagram. And on those, you look for the name Pull My Ears, which is PULMYEARS. And the reason it is it's an anagram of Paul Myers. So it's not like Paul My Ears. It's PULMYEARS. So that's on Threads, Blue Sky, and Instagram. And there's, and on the Instagram, if you go to the Instagram bio, there's links to a bunch of things where you can, get more information about different things I'm doing, like my book tour or where to order the book, and also the podcast, which is out every Tuesday, the Record Store Day podcast. And Record Store Day Black Friday is coming up on November 28th. So we're gearing up for another season of that. And actually, we're in our 7th season of Record Store Day podcast. This episode 200 goes out on Tuesday. So it's amazing. 200 episodes. I just didn't even know if I'd do 5, And so we've had like The Edge from U2. We've had Bonnie Raitt's been on my show. It's pretty cool. You look back on the list of people who've been on our show. Steve Perry of Journey. Like, I never thought we'd get someone like that, and then Margot Price, Jason Isbell, there's a whole list of people who've been on our show, and new artists too, like bands that are emerging now or something like that. And we have more lined up. I have like 7 in the can right now that I haven't even run yet. So yeah, it's a big job. I kind of run it all from this studio. So it's pretty cool.
We're getting close to our 100th episode. It will happen here probably in the next season 6 here in 2026. But yeah, we're trying to be as strong as we can. I mean, Renegade Radio. There's a lot of Renegade Radios out there, so that's why I call this one Frankie Slosson's Renegade Radio. Not to be self-centered or anything like that. I just figure, well, people want to know where to find it, and so I'm just like, well, this is the easiest way, I guess.
Yeah, I think I should start a band called Paul Myers' Led Zeppelin, because then they'll know it's not the other Led Zeppelin.
There you go.
I do appreciate you guys having me on today, and and I appreciate your time. So thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Paul.
We appreciate you, and once again, I mean, thanks to Melissa as well for helping us do this together today. So
Yeah, thank you.
I think we'll end it for now. And, there you go. Yeah, it's about the book.
It's in 3D. It's in 3D. So put on your 3D glasses. And I should point out that the great Dan Aykroyd wrote the foreword for this book, and I'm really honored because this man wrote Ghostbusters and Blues Brothers, and he created those franchises, and he's like a comedy legend, and he shows up in the story a lot. So when at the end of writing the book, I said, Dan, would you write the foreword? And he just totally did it. So I'm glad to also have a chance to have Dan Aykroyd in my book. So that's pretty great. And Tom Hanks is in there, Martin Short, Steve Martin, Andrea Martin. They're all quoted, and Catherine O'Hara.
You know a lot of A-list people anyway, it seems like. So.
Sometimes you don't know them, but you're happy that they talk to you, So there's a few people I do know that were in the book, but mostly I had to go and find their publicists and do what you do. And that's part of the job is you spend a lot of time tracking down people. It's kind of sometimes feels a little weird.
Did you get anybody that refused at all?
Some people couldn't make the schedule. So that's like sometimes it's a matter of if you need it by this time, it'd be better if you did it later, but I have to finish the book at a certain point. So it just didn't happen, but most people are really kind about it. Like no one's flatly refused, so
well, that's good.
It's just
that's
a matter
good.
of, yeah. And every book has a few that you just wish you could have got. I remember being very close to getting the Rolling Stones for the Long John Baldry book because he was a big part of their early story. And their publicist at the time, I don't even know if they knew I was asking. They just said, no, the Stones will not be doing this. And that's too bad. So I don't know if, again, you never know. Did Mick go, hey, why aren't you turning down that fool? That would have been great. Now
I hear Mike Myers now, I tell you.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry about that. Again, blame genetics, blame my Liverpool parents. Anyway, you guys have a great time. Have a great time up there, and I wish I could go to Minnesota someday, but it's not this week.
Man, that'd be great.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week for another great edition of Renegade Radio. All right, everybody.
See you, Paul.
Out in northern Minnesota, under the moonlight, Renegade Radio's blasting through the night. Frankie Slauson's on the mic, it's his time to shine. Screaming Sam and Mad Dog, they're one of a kind. The Antique Man, he's got a story to tell. DJ Ken spinning vinyl, oh so swell. Mama T's got the rhythm that shakes the ground. John Roberts' voice, it's the sweetest sound. On Renegade Radio, we keep it loud. Through the storms and the crowd, we're standing proud. From the back roads to the city, with a voice so wild. Renegade Radio, baby, it's been a while. We don't play by the rules, we're out on the run. The Antique Man's got the past and the future, it's all spun. Mad Dog's howl echoes out over the plains. Screaming Sam and Frankie, they're setting the flames. From the highways to the lakes, we ain't slowing down. Spreading fire through the cold Minnesota town. John Roberts leads the charge with the steel in his soul, while Mama T keeps us rocking, always in control. On Renegade Radio, we keep it loud. Through the storms and the crowds, we're standing proud. From the back roads to the city, with the voice of the wild. Renegade Radio, baby, it's been a while. So tune in, feel the beat rise. This Renegade station's reaching the skies. From the first crack of dawn to the last star fades, with the sound of rebellion, the sound that won't trade. On Renegade Radio, we keep it loud. Through the storms and the crowd, we're standing proud. From the back roads to the city, with the voice of the wild. Renegade Radio, baby, it's been a while. I've been rolling down this road with my head held high. Nothing's ever gonna break the spirit that won't die. And through the dust and pain, I find a way
back with hour number 2 here of Frankie Slosson's Renegade Radio. I'm your host with the most, Frankie Slosson, and this is our 80th episode in total. And, well, let's see. Who else we got over here now? Everybody back? Oh, yeah. Okay, looks like, and Bill's here.
Yeah.
Special guest.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing, Bill? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
Hi, Willie.
I'm excited with Bill gets on.
What's so funny?
Well, it's been it's been well over a year since the last time you were on our show. I don't know if you remember that.
I figured I must upset you guys.
No. I just figured since it's been a while that maybe things have changed. The world has changed a lot in that time. Since July of last year. So I figured it's your turn now.
Yeah, but I went through the entire show and didn't know who Mad Dog was.
Yeah, how's that, Uncle Willie? How'd that happen?
Do you remember that, Mad Dog?
Yeah, I do remember that.
I find it again. I go, who's this guy? You go, that's Mad Dog. That's Anthony. I go, oh, Jesus.
And I go to church every Sunday, Uncle Willie.
All right.
I go to church every Sunday.
I do too.
Yeah, if you ever want to go on Kinison, the Gospel according to Kinison, one of the best services you ever heard. I mean,
I'm glad you did that.
He tells it from his heart, and he doesn't play games, dude. He's like a Donald Trump as a preacher.
Oh, well, that took care of half of my crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take care of the other half now. Wow. Well,
actually, I think I got rid of half my crowd when Trump got elected because I said that God had put in my heart on actually July the 4th. And I got on the program on July 7th, and I said, I feel like God just put in my heart that Donald Trump is destined to be our 47th president. You would have thought that I called everybody in my audience molesters and perverts. I'm serious. We literally lost hundreds of followers. You know what? If that's how they feel about it, that's up to them.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, you did call them molesters and perverts.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're honored to have you back on here, there, Bill, because you're an important part of our show. You're an honorary crew member. You and Sam go. You and John, or Steve and Sam go way back, and it's nice to know that you guys still have a friendship and everything after all this time.
How come I don't get to vote on anything then?
I mean, that's up to you. If you want to be here every week and put up with all this, and,
that'd be great. That'd be funny.
Well, like everybody would say, they want you as a host. Anyway.
You get to vote?
Wait, did we get to vote on something?
I don't. Yeah,
Bill was a part of my show every week. Every week, I could count on Bill to be on the show, and he got me some of the best guests, like Richard Pryor Jr. And then I had a guy come on who claimed he was the best Richard Pryor impersonator ever. He was the worst. And Pryor said, my dad's probably turned over his grave.
Yeah, we didn't tell him that Richard Pryor Jr. was on there with us.
Yeah.
And then after he tried to do impersonation, well, we got the best one to decide, Richard Pryor Jr. Tell him what you thought about his impersonation. And then we had, remember Bertha?
Who?
The Bertha.
Oh, Bertha Bangers.
Yeah, Bangers, and she ended up dying. But...
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, she probably watched the show.
It was a he.
Yeah, it was a he. It was a he. He
probably watched my brother's show. That's why.
No, he was a guy. He was a guy who was on the show, but he was freaked out, man. Like once in a while, he'd get this bug in his ass. He'd start yelling at Bill, like texting Bill, all kind of weird shit. And he would dress up like an old church lady.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was pretty funny. He was funny sometimes. Yeah,
he was good radio. He was good radio.
We had Howard Stern's guy, one of his Rat Pack. Remember that fucking speech impediment man?
Oh yeah, John Stutterman.
Yeah. Bill's like, what the fuck did he say?
So anyway, that's for sure. That's what you need to keep it going. Bill, now we're on our 80th episode. In total, we're less than 19 more episodes to go until our 100th. I didn't think we'd make it this far. To be honest with you, but I'm glad that we did. We've had really good guests on and stuff. We had Paul Myers on last week. He wrote a book about John Candy.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Yeah, it's Mike Myers' brother. He was on last week.
Is that who he is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just like him.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, he's older.
Yeah.
It's like, that's so weird, But, hey, genetics, I guess. That's like Canadian blood, I guess we'll say. But Bill, I'm going to introduce you to Max Payne here. You probably don't know who he is, but he used to wrestle. He used to wrestle in WCW and the World Wrestling Federation. When he was in WWF, he was your Max Payne in WCW, and what were you? What?
Man Mountain Rock in the WWF.
Man Mountain Rock. That's right. Yeah,
I wrestled him.
You wrestled?
Hey, Max, I wrestled you. only weighed 140 pounds, but I've been really tough.
I think he took a shit bigger than you today, Bill.
I'm sure he does.
Bill, I hope I give you the fucking win. That's all that matters. I hope you left the ring feeling good about yourself, brother.
You know what? I always felt like that after that it was always set up. I think they set it up for you to win. They just didn't tell me.
Though it's funny because that's like always one of the first questions people ask about wrestling, and now after what the WWF just released this show called Unreal, finally, there comes a point when I said this 30 years ago to Vince. I said, when are you just going to completely expose the business and let the business conduct itself like a fucking movie does, where you walk in and you just willingly suspend your disbelief in trying to convince a fucking whole bunch of people that a 400-pound guy can dive off of a fucking rope, and somehow when he lands with his elbow in your fucking forehead, you could live through that. Fuck.
I was actually friends with Hulk Hogan, Rowdy Rodney Piper, Randy Savage.
Roddy was something else, man.
And they were great guys. They were great guys.
Yeah.
And they told me, every once in a while, somebody hit them too hard or whatever, and it was on. Forget about the script. It was on.
Yeah, we call that it's funny. I live in the state of Idaho, and that's one of the things in the wrestling business. It's actually one of the monikers of one of the moves we do, that if somebody fucking hits you too hard and hurts you, it's called a potato. And they just got to the point where they called it in Idaho. And when somebody hurts you like that in the wrestling business, you're entitled to give them a fucking receipt. So if somebody fucking gives you a potato, you'll hard way the motherfucker back for doing that to you.
That's funny.
Yeah, there were some good guys.
It's a pleasure.
I'm going to say one thing, guys. I know everything about Bill Kinison. I know everything about him.
He's trying to say something.
I know you want to introduce him, everybody. I'm saying, Frankie, I already know everything, and I'm sure he'll tell you some interesting stories. But you guys can ask him any stories, anything you want, because I'd like to sit back and just laugh.
Well, even if I don't tell you the truth.
Go ahead, Max. What were you going to say to Bill before my brother interrupted you with that?
Oh, shut up, fat ass.
You know what, man? I'm gonna go with what your brother said, man. This is one of those moments where I know my place, man, and I grew up, loving Sam Kinison for what Sam Kinison brought to the fucking table, because he was my kind of comedian. I laughed my balls off the first time I saw him. So I actually happen to know who Bill was, and I've read enough about Sam that this is a moment in time where I'm just going to sit back and keep my mouth shut and do some listening. Well, you know what, Bill? I know who you are too, so I'm going to sit back and keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, fuck you, Bill.
Who's going to interview? No, fuck you. I'm going to be the one to keep his mouth shut.
All right. Well, I happen to have one of the lessons here. Gospel according to Kinnison.
You know who we'll have to do the interview this time? We'll have Antique Man do the whole interview.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Antique
me.
Man's in
Mr.
your neck of the
Interviewer.
woods, Bill.
Yeah.
Sometimes we forget Eddie Edwards even on the show.
Who? Yeah. Frankie.
Yeah. The host. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day before I was on the show, Frankie had his own show, which he had Frankie's Sausage Show, whatever. And he invited me and Bill on together, and we practically took over the show. The poor fucking Frankie just sat back and then it was. We've done that to a couple shows, didn't we, Bill?
Yeah, we did that. Well,
yeah. Well, hey, I mean, it's nice because now I'm used to it. Now I'm used to if you know somebody that's you can give a better introduction to than I can, then by all means go for it.
No, it's not that. We just like to have fun.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It's all good. No, we're honored to have you on here, Bill, because like I said, I mean, you're somebody who deserves more attention than you get, but you've been following along with a lot of things going on with the world, I imagine, and from the last time that we had you on to now, a lot of things have changed, not just with politics and all that, but just life in general, and how has your life been over the course of time since the last time you were on?
Well, I had a bad back, and I had surgery on my back here, and my legs are still getting kind of numb.
Oh, we're hear about you being old. That's great, dude. I'm old.
Don't
I'm
have that reference concept, Bill.
I remember
my
one of my
pecker don't
favorite.
work no more.
Yeah, I remember one of my favorite commercials on TV. I don't know, a year, 2, 3 years ago. I don't know. And this old guy walks into this bar. And so the bartender goes, "How you doing?" "Well, I'm glad you asked that question. I flew in a while ago. My son-in-law picked me up and went through this entire thing." And so now, next thing you know, another guy walks in, and he's starting to ask this guy, "Hey, how you doing, man? How's your day been going?" And the bartender's going, "Don't do it." But we've we got several things working I can't tell you anything about. Hollywood, but we got 3 things working, and they're all 3 big. And so next time I'm on, or as soon as we get some of the stuff inked, we'll be on here and let you guys be the first ones to know. But all of a sudden, 2 or 3 months ago, I guess it just goes in cycles, but all of a sudden Sam was hot, and everybody wanted to do things, about him and with him and everything else. And so been working on that. Actually, I've talked to John a little bit about it, but we've been working on that pretty hard almost every day.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's going to be great. If it all goes through, it's going to be great. But that's what we're doing, and then we do our program. And
how's that been going? Been going pretty good overall? The program? That program's been doing pretty good. The Gospel according to Kinnison?
Yeah, it is. And we never know. We never know exactly. It's always interesting to me how these other programs know exactly how many people is viewing them, because we never know. We have a bunch that watch YouTube during the week and everything else. The last time that we had an estimate, it was over 5,000 people that watch it every week.
Wow.
And we're still, we still teach just like we did. I mean, we or do. And that is, I really believe, you change your world. You do. You have that God inside of you, and everybody's got it. It's just that a lot of them don't recognize it or won't understand it. But folks, I'm telling you something. You control your life. You picked this journey. It wasn't God that picked the journey. You picked the journey that you went on in life. But God gives you the tools to be extremely successful in everything you do. The biggest problem is us getting out of our own way and letting that God inside of you work. And it works in every part of your life. But I don't want to preach, Let's what else
hell,
you want to
preach
talk
on,
about?
brother. Preach
Yeah.
on.
Are you kidding me? You're the best.
I'll preach some more as soon as I see some offerings coming this way.
Hey, Bill, can I ask you a quick question, man?
Yeah.
You know, I love you, man, and you obviously took on a huge responsibility in your life because you have a brother that, he would overshadow Jesus if he was alive, for God's sakes. How do you deal with on a daily basis being that guy because I'm sure it gets hard sometimes, not having completely your own identity, and you do have your own identity. You've built yourself well, but there's a huge responsibility and obligation that goes along with that. Tell us what it feels like to deal with that you deal with it on a fucking second by second basis.
Well, I told someone this past week actually that asked me. They were talking about Sam and we are writing a book. I mean that's a done deal. But they were talking about how do I deal with that? I said I don't think I've ever grieved for Sam. I don't think I ever had the opportunity to. Because I still deal with him every day. Right. 33 years, I still deal with Sam every day. There's projects. There's, there's nothing I do that doesn't seem like Sam is in the middle of it. I had a friend, his daughter plays softball with my granddaughter, and he's a military surgeon. And Jelly Roll was in town. He'd been there a couple of times, San Antonio. And so he asked, if I wanted to come and bring some of my friends or whatever. So we took our family and I took pictures with Jelly Roll. And we got our arms around each other. We're laughing and everything. And so this surgeon at the ball game, I guess Ginger, I think, posted a picture of Jelly Roll and I. And so he was like, man, you know Jelly Roll? And I said, yeah, we're pretty good friends. And so he goes home and he Googles me. And next time I see him, he goes, Bill, why don't you tell people what you've done? I mean, you have a Grammy, you wrote a best-selling book. You've got awards for documentary. Why don't you tell people? And so I told him, and I really believe it. Hey, I'm not going to live in the past. I still got a future that I want to do some more stuff in. And so I'm not going to live back there. So I'm not worried about, I've never been worried about who Bill Kinison was. When when we were in the ministry, my brother Richard and I, we were the stars. We would draw 5,000 people a night in crusades. And then when I decided to manage Sam, Sam would ask me, said, dude, don't you miss it? Because funny thing is that he would play some of the same venues I held crusades in. So I would walk in and, those houses are all union houses. So you see, you got the same guys. I don't care if it's 10 years later. And I'd walk in, they go, Reverend Kinison, good to see you. And I go, well, it's a little different message this time.
Just a bit different, a little bit.
Yeah, just a little, touches here and there. But what I'm saying
words, little yelling.
Never, when I managed Sam, I really felt in my heart that was what I was supposed to do, and that was before he hit big. But I felt one Sunday I was going to church. John knows the story. I was going to church, church that I pastored full, And as I was in the shower getting ready to go to Sunday morning, I remember that it was like God just spoke to my heart and was like telling me it's time for you to do something else. I wasn't disillusioned. I didn't lose my faith, even though all the preachers blackballed me, and or anything like that. And I remember I told Sherry, I said I was going to tell her on the way to church, and on the way to church, I thought, man, this is her hometown. This had been her parents' church, and she's not going to go for this at all. And I remember I told her, I said, honey, this is going to be our last service as pastor at the church. And I remember all she said was, what we're going to do. And I go, well, Sam's been wanting us to manage him. We can go out there. We got enough money to last for a couple of years in California. And we'll go out there and see if we can't get something going. Well, we went out there, and Sam immediately hit, not because I was so great a manager, it's because Rodney Dangerfield gave him a shot. And that 6 minutes on HBO changed the entire framework of Sam's life, that 6 minutes. And from then on, I had no trouble, man. I mean, I enjoy being in the background. I'd already, had that ego and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't need it. And Sam be like, don't you miss it? And I go, brother, I'm happy doing what I'm doing and seeing you successful. That meant more to me than anything, because he had never been successful in his life up to that time. And that was it.
Wow.
That was it.
Cool.
When he says John, Max, he means me. My name's real name's John.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What
That's right.
about
That's right. No, that's right. John's good. No, a lot of people don't know who John is. I feel important when you say John. By the way,
well,
Bill,
what does the other people call you?
They call me Sam. They call me Sam on the show, but you don't have to. Listen, your nose job and your facelift and nose job turned out good, so you know.
For you folks that don't know, John came all the way out to California after comedians had told him not to come out. He won't talk to you. He won't see you. And I really wasn't too crazy about Sam impersonators. And he drove all the way out to California. And he got my phone number, and he called me and told me that he wanted to meet me. And I think I told him, I said, well, brother, I'm really not into that and everything else. And then he started crying, and no, he didn't do that. I was afraid he was going to break down and cry. But he said, man, I drove all the way out here because I'm afraid to fly. And I just would like to meet you. So finally I said, okay, I'll tell you what, we'll meet at, I think it was an Olive Garden, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I said, meet you at an Olive Garden, because I didn't want to get stuck with him. I didn't know him or anything else. And I remember he was already sitting down, and I walked in, and dude, it freaked me out. It was just like looking at Sam. I mean, there wasn't anyone more identical. And the funny thing was, he wasn't trying to look like him. He looked like him. And the end of the story was, I did take him home, and I had to ask him leave after about 3 weeks.
Well, the real world. This is when you got to know me.
Oh, yeah, like I can see that. I'm on a phone, and I'm looking at a thing about a quarter of an inch.
Yeah, Bill still got a flip phone.
No, I can't. On my computer, I can't get on Facebook.
Oh.
But I can get on Facebook on my phone. So, anyway.
Sure. It looks good. You look great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I look old, John. I'm getting old.
Me too. I just turned 42 here a couple weeks ago. So, welcome to the scene.
Who turned 42?
Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. Fucking 42.
Edward, look at my face. Kiss my ass. Kiss my old ass.
I went all the way to sickness there. I was going to say I'd fillet a fucking primate on Main Street just to be 42 again.
Oh. I'd like to smell 42 again.
I did a couple of weeks ago.
No, not that, John. No, that Edward. You're...
I got underwear that are 42.
No, your underwear are 67s.
No, that's the waistline.
They're from 1942.
Yeah.
There you go.
Bill, Ken, I'm going to introduce real fast. Ken Heath, he was Wolfman Jack's nephew. That's Wolfman Jack's nephew. Ken.
Well, I still am. It's just Wolfman's not around anymore.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
I met, you were on before with me, wasn't you, Kenny?
He might have been,
Huh?
Ken.
I think he was. We were talking about Wolfman Jack.
Ken's been around here on the show for about a year now. It was about September or October when he last year when he came on.
And Antique Man is a singer. Antique, he's from Texas.
Yeah,
he tries.
He's a singer. He has his own music out there and everything. He's a really good singer.
No, you don't try. You're good,
man.
I thought we had talked about Wolfman Jack before. We probably talked about him, but he wasn't here.
Right.
Yeah.
We probably did.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an icon, man.
Man's a good
He
singer.
was an icon.
Thank you. Now Sam say something nice about me though.
Frankie, Frankie is a loser.
We should have had Bill on.
Who's trying to get a radio station and can't do it?
I'm done.
We should have had Bill on a couple weeks ago for my birthday roast. That would have been fun because I'm sure Bill has enough stuff he could roast me on.
Yeah, he was mad because I didn't use Sam Kinison to roast him. So at the end, I did a little Sam for him, and he's like, "Why don't you do that for the roast?" Hey, Bill never believed I looked like. Well, he knew I looked like Sam, but we went to Sturgis, and we're walking down the street. Everybody's stopping us, going, "Can I get your autograph? Can I get your autograph?" I go, "I'm not really who you think I am." And Bill says, "Dude, how fucking big of a fan can I be if they know the guy's dead?" He goes, "Just sign his name and tell him you're him." So all day we were riding down the road, I'm signing autographs. We had a blast.
The way it started is that Sam gets up and sings with who was it over at the saloon?
What's his name?
Oh man, I hear Joe
Kingfish. Yeah, Joe Santana and Kingfish.
Yeah, Joe Santana. That's who we're talking about. Anyhow, so we go over there, and and Sam or John looks. When I say he looked like Sam, I'm telling you, it freaked me out. But we went over there, and so they saw him, and they wanted us to come up and hang backstage. So we did. Well, then they had him come out and do a wow thing. Had John do it. And so all the crowd now thinks that Sam is up there doing wow thing. That I guess 2 years before he didn't really die. And, so now we're going everywhere, and what was the killer is that John, they would come up and go, "Man, I'm your biggest fan. Would you sign my tit or sign something?" And so John would go, "Well, if you're my biggest fan, you ought to know I died 1992." And so finally, I just went, "You know what? Make their day, man. Go on and sign the autographs. I don't give a crap."
And of course, I go overboard. I said, "This is my brother Bill, man."
Yeah.
They probably went home and Googled Sam and like, that motherfucker's dead.
Well, I'm telling you, man, his ghost gave me an autograph. I saw him.
He's like, Jesus Christ, he's been you should have gone you should have just signed the resurrection.
Yeah.
John. You should have just signed, "I am the light and the resurrection."
Oh man, that would have been funny. That would have been funny.
One time I said, "What do you think Sam would look like right now?" And he goes, "He would look like you, probably."
Yeah.
He's older than me.
Some handwriting analysts, they're like, "This ain't Sam's autograph."
Yeah, they take it to Pawn Stars.
It is too. I saw him.
You know what? There's literally thousands of people that think they have Sam's autograph that I signed it. Because
that's funny.
What they would do is they'd line outside of the bus, and Sam didn't want to sign the autograph, so all of us on the bus would sign these pictures. and give it to them, and they're going nuts, man. I got Sam's autograph. I remember there was a promoter in Phoenix. He's going to kill me if he watches this program. But I remember he had me come over, and he called me, and I used to golf. And so he would have celebrities. He had this golf tournament every year in Phoenix, a 2-day tournament, and Alice Cooper would always win it. I'm not here, man.
I'm sorry.
Anyhow, Alice Cooper would always win this tournament, and so I fly over, and he told me, he said, "Man, you can stay at my house with me, and whatever, but I want you to be in the tournament." Sam had just died, so I said, "Sure." So I go over there. Well, they didn't bother to tell me this was like the Alice Cooper Invitational that they let him win every year. And so I come there, and I win the long drive contest. I win the tournament. And Alice is not a good loser. He is not a good loser, man. So he's talking all kinds of crap. And I'm just like, whatever, just hand the money over. And so then he goes, "You couldn't break 100 at Pebble Beach." And so I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't both of us fly up there? And for every stroke that I'm under 100, you pay me $100. And for every stroke that either one of us is over 100, we'll pay the other one $100. Well, I remember we went, and so I think I shot like an 82 or something like that, which wasn't bad at Pebble Beach. And he shot over 100, and it ended up costing him like $2,200.
Oh my God!
And if you thought he was upset in Phoenix, you never saw him in Pebble Beach. Well, now it's probably less than a month. We have the Grammys. Well, I win a Grammy for Sam's album I put together after he had died. And so then you're hanging out back because you're going to these tents and they're interviewing you and all that stuff. Well, I run into Alice. And I go, "Hey, Alice, how you doing, man?" He turned around, wouldn't say a word. Not a word. And so I go, "Well, that's what a good ass whipping does, I guess. I don't know."
That's right.
He should have just started singing "No More Mr. Nice Guy." I used to be such a sweet, sweet thing until I played fucking golf with you, Bill.
I told this promoter, I said, "Dude, why didn't you tell me? I'd have rolled over. I don't care."
You should have said to him, Bill. No, you should have said, "Welcome to my nightmare. I think you're gonna like it."
Yeah, you guys can come up with all this stuff 30 years later.
Yeah.
That's the privilege of it, right?
That's awesome.
That's funny.
Anyhow, he surprised me. I didn't expect him to act like that. But I would have rolled over. I didn't care if I won the tournament.
He's a highly Christian guy too.
He's what?
He's a Christian guy, Alice Cooper.
Well, he wasn't then.
Oh,
You
no.
act like it.
So do you think that
I shouldn't say that. He just was just upset because he got beat.
Do you think now, after all these years, that he would talk to you? I mean, just like say, "Hey, how's it going?" and forgive and forget, or
I don't know, man. It's like people that don't like me, they always don't like me.
Oh, well, we love you, sir.
You could have been a good Christian and rolled over.
Yeah.
I
what happened
would've.
to turn the other cheek?
I would have.
Wrong
I
cheek.
didn't know.
Yeah, doing your doggy style, probably.
If you're rolling over, it's the wrong cheeks.
Yeah.
You could have put your golf clubs back in your trunk of your car and left.
Well, actually, I flew there, but
He could have been nice and washed your balls, your golf balls.
oh, you know what?
Pardon me.
You know what?
That's the funniest thing Frankie said on his show since the 80s shows.
Don't you think it's
Could
kind
have
of? Don't you think
been
it's
good
kind
at
of
Bill
strange
Murray.
that
How you doing, Mr. Kennison? You're looking good.
she's watching your balls there with a ball washer.
You know what's kind of strange, though? Have you noticed that all these entertainers and stuff are all of a sudden Christians?
Yeah, all of a sudden, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Pauly Shore, one of my closest friends, he's a Christian now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he sends out motivational things and whatever on his program, and
why do you
Jelly
think,
Roll, everybody's knew about him.
Why do you think that is, though? Why do you think people eventually go that route?
Well,
do you think they have a past?
No, I think that probably Charlie Kirk made it cool to be, to be openly a Christian. I really do.
Okay.
Well, I just brought down that show.
Yes. Well, no. You bring up a good subject because we just had Charlie Kirk. His tour was supposed to come to North Dakota, and eventually it did. It came here last week to Grand Forks. That's only like 45 minutes from where I live. When they did something at UND, Glenn Beck hosted it. Well, what happened to Charlie? I mean, I'm surprised that they decided to keep it going. Because I would have thought they would have just ended the tour and just been like, well, that's the end of that, I guess.
Dude, they're drawing millions.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, do you think it would have had the same effect had he not got murdered?
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, my wife said hi.
Well, tell her I'll talk to her later tonight.
Hey, I don't know if you remember the time I got the wrong number. I meant to call her for some reason. I called Bill and he answers phone. He goes, I go, Marlene. He goes, well, just hold on a second. She's underneath the blankets right now. He did it so quick. I'm like, I look at my phone. I go, you fuck right down the wrong number.
But what I'm saying is, do you think it would have had the same effect had he not have passed away? Because
I think the worst thing that could have happened for Democrats or people that are anti-Christian and stuff, the worst thing could have happened was that he's assassinated for them. I mean, right now, the last time I saw, there's like 195,000 high schools and colleges that have applied for TPUSA to have a chapter on their facilities. And the way I found out is I think I was watching a game or something, and Sherry was in the bedroom, and so she says, "Hey, some guy just got shot." And so I come in there and go, "What guy?" I said, "Charlie Kirk." And I go, "You got to be kidding." This is before, I think everybody knew he was dead, but this is before they announced that he was dead. And I go, "You got to be kidding." And she goes, "I don't. Well, who is he?" And I go, "You don't know who Charlie Kirk is?" And she said, No. And so I told her, I said, I catch him on the internet all the time. I love to hear him debate. I don't always agree with everything that he says, but there probably isn't anybody alive I totally agree with. And but I said, I really, really enjoyed him. Well, our granddaughter had been in Illinois, or been in California, and had to be with her father, her biological father, for, I don't know, several weeks. And so she came over to the house and she said, "Did you know Charlie Kirk was killed?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, how do you know?" And I said, "How do you know Charlie Kirk?" She said, "I started watching him on the internet back in California."
Wow.
And, I can talk to her all day long. I'm not going to convince her. That's when you're making that decision, that's a decision you got to make.
Right.
And I may be able to, turn a lot of people on to Christ and stuff. But she grew up with me. Charlie Kirk changed her life. And so I told somebody, I said, "You know what? You can say whatever you want. All I know is he changed my granddaughter's life. She came back from California, a different girl, every morning. She's only 13, in the 8th grade. Every morning she posts a thing about Jesus will get you through. And that kind of stuff every single morning. So I don't care what other people think, but I do think that I don't think that he made, a lot of people, I'm talking about entertainers and stuff, become Christians. I think what he made it was, it's okay. It's okay if you want to do that. Because
Sure.
so many of these singers and stuff, they came out of church. I mean, when you stop and think about their past and stuff, they came out of church. And now it's okay to get up and I don't know if any of you ever been to a Jelly Roll concert. You might as well go to a crusade. This guy has church. You got people there crying. You got people there raising their hands and back and forth and stuff. It's cool.
That's
and
wild.
For nothing else other than that, I totally support Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
And his organization.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have my lawyer in Pittsburgh's name's Charlie Clark, and I keep saying I kept telling my wife Charlie Clark died. She goes, "Who's Charlie Clark?" I says Kirk, but I keep saying Clark.
Of course you would.
I still do.
Well, that's a good start for a lawyer.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. You get lots of accounts and everything.
You know how to drive a lawyer, don't you? Before he hits the water.
I tell you.
I told Sherry. This is probably maybe a month. I asked her, you have any idea who Charlie Kirk is? And she said no. I said, this guy can be the president one of these days.
Yep.
And I really thought he could. Now that he's been assassinated, so many. I saw where they played a Rush Limbaugh tape. I think it's on Fox or something from years ago when Charlie Kirk was a teenager, and he had come there to do a fundraising or something for Turning Point USA, I believe, and they brought him out to meet Rush Limbaugh, and so he met Rush Limbaugh, and Rush Limbaugh was telling about his experience. This is back before Charlie Kirk was really anything, and he told about how he met this young guy named Charlie Kirk, and he said, "I think one day he's going to be a president." And it was a shame that we lost him, but there had to be a plan.
So what's your thoughts on the guy that killed him there? I mean, because I'm sure you had a lot of thoughts about, what.
Well, I don't know if I'm as forgiving as Erica Kirk was, but I'm not so upset with him because I think that he's mentally deranged. Anybody that can premeditatedly kill somebody else, I don't think are playing with a full deck. I just don't. I'm sorry. And every one of them could plead insanity to me because the moment you pull that trigger, you can't be thinking right. But what upset me was the Jimmy Kimmels, the Stephen Colberts, the preachers that got up and talked about how this is great and that, they're glad somebody took him out and all that stuff. That's what upset me. I posted, and then I told them on my program, I said, if you have one speck of you that can rejoice and be happy that a person, forget about Charlie Kirk, that a person can be assassinated and you're happy about it, don't waste your time listening to me, because I'm not the kind of speaker you want to listen to.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I don't want to be ignorant, but I wish Charlie Clark would have got shot. I owe him money.
Don't watch my program, man. I'm not the guy for you.
What the hell?
But I thought what courage that Erica had. I remember when my brother Kevin died, And at first, the coroner thought it was suicide, and then later on they decided it was a homicide and everything. But I remember I had a decision to make because John knows this. Kevin and my brothers were really like my sons. I raised them. And I had a decision to make. Kevin was 28 years old. Somebody was burglarizing my mother's house. He walked in on them. They took him in the back immediately and shot him in the back of the head. And I was faced with a question in me, not that anybody else would ask me. I can do two things, one of two things. I can be mad at God. I can be mad at the world. I can be mad at everything. Or I can be thankful that I had him for 28 years.
Amen.
And that's what I did. I was thankful. I could have not even have known him. He could not even have existed. But I got to enjoy 28 years of his life.
Wow.
And so I understood when Erica stood up there and said, I forgive this young man. He was the kind of young man that Charlie was trying to help.
Amen.
And I understood that.
That's wow. That's powerful. I know how you feel about Kevin's death. I mean, a lot of people don't know, but that was probably the hardest one that's ever hit you is Kevin's death.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. I couldn't even for a few years, I couldn't even talk about him. It was just too painful even to talk about him.
Sorry about that, Bill. I didn't even know about that. I'm sorry.
What's amazing is me and Bill had.
Did you have something to do with it?
You're fucked up.
Bill, me and Bill shared a lot of stories back
Come on,
in
I'm
the day.
being sincere here, you bastards. And you
Right,
Bill? Bill, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You know who Mad Dog is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know now.
Yeah. Okay, Bill, I have a question for you. And this is a sincere question. Since Sam's death, have you ever forgiven the guy that killed him?
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, I did. His name was Troy Pearson, and everybody, people were sending texts and everything. They wanted to kill him and wanted to find him. Well, I looked for him. I looked for him for probably 5 years, not to do anything to him. I wanted to sit down with him and tell him he can't let this one act.
Daniel Moorfield said he's watching you right now.
Who?
Daniel Moorfield. Remember he used to do the lights for us?
Oh, Daniel. Okay, yeah.
Hi, Sherry.
Yeah, they said hi, Sherry.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
She was telling me that people are texting her that they're watching us right now.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
So
That's
I really got to clean it up now.
Yeah. Don't swear.
No, but this young man, I remember at his sentencing, he was charged with involuntary manslaughter, but he was only 17, so he wasn't going to go to jail. And I didn't, and I requested to the judge not to send him to jail. And I remember we were sitting in the courtroom, and I was at one end of the conference table. He was at the other, and you had these attorneys, and I asked them to separate and wanted to look at him. And I told him, I said, I want to look at you for a minute. And I looked at him and I said, I don't know when I'll ever meet someone that can be responsible for another person's death and have absolutely no remorse that you actually wanted them to put in your yearbook in high school that you killed Sam Kinison. And I told him, I said,
kidding me?
No. And so, but I told him, I said, I think when life is over, you're probably going to wish you'd have died in this accident many times because it's going to dawn on you as you go along in life. And I said, and you may not realize it, you're going to live with my brother the rest of your life. Whenever they think of him being killed, they're going to think of the kid that ran into him. And you didn't do it on purpose, but they're going to think that. Well, for 5 years, I remember, I don't mean to get into a big thing, but his attorney, when we were at the arraignment, came up to me and he said, "Are you Bill Kinison?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, I'm the kid's attorney and I'm going to get him off." And so I said, "I don't think you're supposed to be talking to me, are you?" And so the DA, took me into his office and asked me what was said. So he said, "Let the judge know when you're talking." So I told the judge, I said, there's a few things I'll remember. One of them is I'll remember this attorney coming up to me and telling me he's going to get the kid off. And so this judge turned around to this attorney and said, "If I had any way to prove that you did that, I'm personally going to have you disbarred." Well, at the end of it, they got all kinds of security around me, and I don't know if they thought somebody was going to try to kill me or what. But this attorney gets over by me. And he goes, "I didn't appreciate what you said about me to the judge." Oh. And I said, "Well, I didn't appreciate you telling me to start with." But I said, "I'll tell you one thing. One day you and I are going to run into each other, and we're not going to be in a courtroom. And I'm going to beat your ass. So you can look forward to that." Well, now it's a couple years later, and I've got a speeding ticket, but I'm going to fight it. So I go out to the courthouse there in California, and I'm waiting for the afternoon session to come so I can go argue against this thing. And so this guy comes up, puts his leg on this pillar that's out front of the courthouse. He said, "Are you Bill Kinison?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I'm the attorney. I was the kid's attorney that killed your brother." So I thought, well, we're not in the courtroom now, so I might as well take care of business. And so I got up and he goes, before you do anything, I just want you to know I'm your attorney today. And you can request for a new attorney if you want. No, I don't need a new attorney. And I asked him, I said, "Did this kid, did he ever live up to his sentence? 2 years suspended license, 300 community service hours." And he goes, "I don't know. I never heard from him again from that day. But he said, I wanted you to know that if I'd had it to do over, I never would have took that case." And but getting back to Troy, I tried several times. I even went to Vegas a couple times to try to find him. I wanted to sit down with him and tell him, you can't let this dictate the rest of your life. I don't believe you went out to kill anybody. And you can't live and let this control the rest of your life. I never could find him. But I did find his aunt. And my best friend, he did hair. He's a hairstylist, and he did her hair several times. So one day he goes, "Bill, I never wanted to tell you, but Troy Pearson's aunt, I do her hair." And I said, "Is there any way I can talk to her?" And he said, "I'll ask her." Well, she agreed for me to meet her, and I talked to her, and I said, "How's Troy doing?" She said, "Well, he's had a couple nervous breakdowns. He can't keep a job." And I said, "Well, I've tried to get a hold of him. I just wanted to talk to him, not to do anything to him. I just wanted to talk to him." And so when you talk about, did I forgive him? Yeah, I forgave him when right after it happened. He didn't go out to kill anybody. But I knew what his life was going to be like. If you can imagine hearing Sam's name and seeing Sam's name for 30 years, that'd be tough to handle, John. Mad Dog, that'd be tough to handle, man. And so, I did forgive him. I forgave him.
Yeah, people don't understand when he hit Sam head on, Bill helped him out of the truck, And the first thing the kid says, what? Look what the fuck he did to my truck or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep. And he was beer rolling out of his truck. He's underage. If he was 18 or older, he would never live this kind of. He would never got away with it. Never.
No, he'd have probably. I still would have recommended him not to go to jail.
Right.
You know, there was a lot of times. Believe me, Sam could have been in that position.
Right.
Driving drunk and stuff. So, but I'm not trying to tell you how gracious I am. I mean,
Gary Boone said you're the best. Gary Boone said you're the best.
Who did?
Gary Boone.
Gary Boone.
Yeah.
Well, that's another follower I'm probably going to lose.
He said, Bill, you're the best, bro.
I was just wondering, hey, your cousin who's the hairstylist, did she do your hair?
Oh,
you know, since I'm looking at 12 of you, which one said it? Oh, nobody's going
Mad
to get
Dog,
it now.
the one you don't know, Mad Dog, that guy Mad Dog.
And I prayed for your wife.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Sincerely, I prayed, and I think.
Yeah, she lived, my man. She lived.
Yeah, you got a beautiful woman there, man.
Oh, I love every day.
Anytime I get depressed or in a bad mood, I call Bill for prayers, and he prays for whatever situation I'm in.
Yeah, he depresses me.
Well, I think with that being said, I think we'll end it here. We appreciate you, Bill. Honestly, we really do.
Then why are you throwing me off?
Well, because most of us have been on here for a while, and it's time to go.
Well, yeah, you started your program like at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago. Actually,
Why
2
would
and a
you
half.
go on to 5?
Yeah,
That's Rebel Radio, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We'll be on all 24 hours. It's a marathon. Jerry,
Love you like family. Get the hell out.
You know what? I'm going to start my own radio program,
Okay.
and I'm going to put him out of business.
Hey, Bill, I'll be your
I'm
co-host.
going to find out exactly what times he's on, and I'm going to do it.
Sure. That's right.
I'll
Hey,
work for you, Bill. You're
Hey,
like,
Bill, you still on me? You're going to take me with you?
Oh, yeah.
hey, Bill, and I'll work for you. You're like, I don't know who that guy is, Mad Dog, but he works for me.
I love the Lutz family. They're very, very
Well, we
close.
appreciate everybody, and Max, thanks for making an appearance tonight as well.
Thank you,
do
Bill.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
And
Love you, Bill.
Love you guys, man.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys
are the
next
best.
week.
I'll call you
Next
tomorrow.
week.
All right.
Next week we got the lucky losers coming on the show. So pay
Steve
attention.
Kaufman said hi.
How can you be a
Steve
loser
Kaufman
and be
said hi.
lucky?
I don't know. You have to find out next week when they join our show. All right, guys. See you next week.
Wait a minute now. You're going to kick me off your show, and then you want me to call and listen to it next week.
Absolutely. Listen to it. Watch it.
This is messed up.
All right, guys.
Messed up, man.
Matt.
All right.
Matt,
Guys,
you
thanks for
Van
inviting
Vade.
me on.
When it comes to podcasts and social media, stick with the best. Grand Forks' best source. Keep up to date with local happenings and news, interviews with city leaders, athletes, nonprofits, and of course, lots of feel-good stories. You know, Grand Forks' best source is a great way to advertise your business or events with the most economical ad packages available. And contact us to find out how you can have your own podcast with the best studio in the area. Check out Grand Forks' best source on your favorite social media app. Grand Forks' best source, the Forks' best local podcast. Call 701-213-0863 or online at gfbestsource.com. We love the Forks. Grand Forks' best source, giving the Forks their identity again.